Hey, Kingdom people. Hello, hello, hello. Where you at, Kingdom people? Hi, Creole Mama 2. How are you? Thanks for joining. Kingdom people. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining. It's coffee time with Latricia. I got my coffee. Listen, I made coffee at home today. I haven't done that in a long, well, I did it maybe a couple of months ago, once prior to that. I hadn't done it in a long time because I always be getting coffee out when I want it. And then I drink a lot of iced coffee. So I have some at home. I used to make it at home all the time. And sometimes I would buy cream, half and half cream, the liquid, because that's what I like when I make it at home as well. And so it would just go bad. Every time I would buy it, it would go bad because my intentions be to make some at home, especially during the colder months. So, you a hot chocolate girl? Okay. I like hot chocolate too, but I try to avoid the sugar. But I have come across some that are not as sugary. They have a less amount of sugar. Every here and there, I enjoy hot coffee. I haven't had none this winter. Um, that's usually when I like to have some, especially around the holidays. I didn't even have any. Hmm. I used to get the taste for it though too, but I didn't. But yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I would just buy the cream so I can have it, so I can make coffee at home. And for like, did it 3 times over a period of maybe 4 or 5 months. And every time I had to pour it out because it went bad because I didn't use it. And so, well, the last time, I actually ended up using it for other things when I didn't have milk for certain things I was making. I would use that instead. But I finally made some today, and it's pretty good. And it's the Starbucks brand decaf. So, yeah, I be having to cut back to some on, giving, well, not giving them my money, but you know, buying so much coffee out. It's nice to do to treat yourself, but I was over treating myself. And so now I'm rebudgeting my stuff and my things to do some things different, money management, those kind of things. You know how you have to just change some things up for the betterment of your financial situation. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just looking to do some new things and to, just save a little more, just change up some things. Sometimes you got to change up some things, and then when the Holy Spirit leading you to do so, it's a must. Hey, Apostle, how are you? I know, right? We be having to get our stuff right. If you don't mind, Creole Mom of Two, I'm adding you as a moderator. Are you willing to be a moderator to my channel? Apostle here and she's already a moderator. I sent her a request and she accepted. I didn't ask you when I did it. My apologies for that, but I appreciate your grace in receiving and accepting. I just wasn't thinking I didn't mean anything. So, Creole Mama too, all you do is when someone is like on, when we're live, and if someone is saying inappropriate things or anything comes up in the comments, that's obviously not what we're here to do. Negative things and just stuff that's not supposed to be, here, about what we doing. We about God's business, we talking to kingdom people, those kind of things. You actually have control to just tap in the comments and remove it, block it, whatever you feel the need to do. Um, yeah, just remove it, get rid of it. You can even block the person if need be, if it's too, some things are just too much and they just don't even need to be here. But sometimes I just remove the message, just so it won't be here. But so yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a few of us right now, but still, um, it just has been on me to just add moderators, especially those who I see here, pretty regularly when I go live, that is. So, yeah, if you're willing, like you just did, like you just rejected your message, just like that, you got it. And I appreciate it. We're just trying to keep a clean, positive, safe environment. I refrain these days from closing my comments. At one point in time, I would do that because there would be so many comments coming through, just crazy. Now, just, I've been led to just leave them, let it be. And then I just remove them. And sometimes YouTube, depending on how crazy it is, YouTube will move them. And some things I don't even see. But if I see something that's just inappropriate, I just move it. And sometimes people come on here to argue and fight and to check me. And I don't do that. My take is, if you don't like what I'm saying, then just don't listen to me. Just go somewhere else. Or if you don't agree, don't want to argue and debate. And, some people actually attack, and again, I just don't, I'm not, you know, that's not what we do here. So, yeah, which leads me somewhat into the message. You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain. And, it's just this interesting phenomenon, I'll call it, that's been going on. It's nothing new, but it's being very heightened. And I've been made very aware of this, personally. And God had just been showing me that this is going on among his people. And, people want an explanation from you. Some people feel like you have to explain yourself. And sometimes kingdom people is people that you don't even know. People may be watching you, they studying you, they trying to figure out how you do this, how you do that, and they want you to explain. Some people, if you do give them an opportunity to talk with you, they want to ask them or get close to you enough. They trying to get some information. They want an explanation about you. Sometimes it's an explanation of who you are. Who are you? How you do this? Where you come from? How you, and I'm just hearing walk with God like that. Listen, I'm literally hearing how I wasn't able to do what I was trying to do to you. People are really wanting to know how you do that, and they want an explanation. I'm being shown that certain people that I don't even talk to or deal with, they want me to come on here and explain myself. Explain how you do what you do. And here's the thing, kingdom people, it's not necessarily, when people sincerely want to know, it's okay. I can remember it was several years ago. Where I lived at, in this little town I lived at for a little time. I used to go to the library all the time. I still do, but I used to go there and work. And I would sit at the table and work. Sometimes I was use their computer, and sometimes I would just sit at the table with my laptop and whatever and work. Sometimes read, just doing different things at the library. I was at the library a lot, and I would go to the library to get out of the house because I worked from home. And sometimes I wanted to get out of the house, so I would go to the library. And I also would get books and things like that. I've always been an avid reader. But this one lady who worked at the library, one of the librarians, one day, she was an older lady, and one day she finally asked me, she said, "What do you do?" And I shared with her what I do, and she just was like, "Because I always see you here working." And so it was innocent. It was very innocent. She didn't mean anything by it. She was just curious, just wanting to know, what do you do? Because she always see me there working. And so I'm mentioning all that too to say these ones that I'm speaking of, they want you to explain they coming from an interrogative place. I don't even know if that's a word. Did I just make up a word? It's kind of like an interrogation. They want an explanation. They want to know who you are, but it's not with good intentions. Many a times it's with hatred in their heart or envy or jealousy or, trying to find, they have all this where they want to, I just heard beef with you. I mean, people want beef with you, and you don't even know them sometimes. They just want beef with you, and they want an explanation about who you are, how you got to be like you are, and all this, that, and the other. And here's the thing. And look, that's just how they feel about it. That's all. Who are you? What are you? How you? They want you to explain. They want an explanation from you. They feel like you need to explain to them how you are like you are. And again, with that kind of attitude, it's not coming from a genuine good place. And so this is the thing. I have been reading in Matthew. And in the book of Matthew, I'm speaking of the scriptures. And so, I was reading, I want to say the earlier part of this week about how, how the Pharisees and the religious leaders, they will be questioning Jesus. And Jesus, they was asking all these questions. They were trying to trip him up. They had already had their mind made up about him. And so they wasn't really questioning him to really genuinely, sincerely wanting to know out of curiosity or to gain some understanding. They were really just trying to have beef with him, so to speak, beef they already had with him. But they would felt entitled to explanations. They felt like he should explain. And so Jesus would trip them up because whenever they asked him a question, y'all know how Jesus was. He was spinning them is what he was doing. He was spinning them in circles. But it was one particular time when they were asking, two of them were asking Jesus. Well, no, it was a group of them. Or maybe it was two. It was so different situations, but let me make the point. Where they were asking Jesus something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And Jesus said, well, if you answer me this, then I answer you. So Jesus asked them whatever the question was. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't have it right here in front of me. But I get the concept. It just plays right in. It just goes hand in hand with this. And they were talking amongst themselves, like, if we say this, then he gonna say this. If we say this, then we gonna say this. So they end up answering Jesus' question, said, I don't know. So Jesus said, well, since you don't know and you can't answer, then I ain't answering you. But the point is this. Jesus ain't have to explain nothing. He ain't have to explain nothing to them. He knew that, but they felt entitled to an explanation. Now, here's the thing, kingdom people. Jesus did offer explanation to those who sincerely, genuinely asked him questions because they really had a desire to learn, really had a desire to understand, really had a desire to just know the ways of God or whatever it is that Jesus was sharing, what he was teaching. They really wanted to receive from him. They were really trying to get what it is he was teaching and ministering. They were not asking with an intent to interrogate him or find fault with him or to just try to trip him up. And so when people generally ask Jesus questions, he sincerely and genuinely answered them. They got the answers that they needed. They were open to receiving from him. Now, these other ones, these Pharisees, these religious leaders and all them ones, That's not what they were on. They were not sincere. They wasn't really wanting to understand. They were not trying to receive Jesus' teachings, what he came to bring. They were too busy trying to oppose him because he put an end or highlighted their ways and how they were not right and okay, especially those religious leaders. Because here you are handing down or teaching religious law, but Jesus said that they were oppressors. They were oppressing the people. They were actually blinding the people from the truth. They didn't really want the people to know the truth. So when Jesus comes and brings the truth, they didn't like it. So they had to, you know, get an explanation from him as to who he thought he was, who he thought he was, healing and on the Sabbath, and just performing miracles and just doing everything that he was doing. They wanted, listen, I'm hearing they wanted an explanation from God, because we know Jesus was God, is God. He was God made manifest in the flesh. So they were literally questioning God. Like, who you think you are, basically. Who told you? That's like asking God. It is asking God. Who told you you can heal on this religious day that we got set apart as the Sabbath, and you ain't supposed to do no work? I don't want to go too much into that because Jesus had an answer for it. He had an answer for it. But the thing is, he didn't have to explain. But Jesus, when he explained to show them the stupidity and the error in their ways and their thinking. And that too is part of why they wanted to have beef with him, or why they did, because he was disrupting their whole system. He was disrupting their whole thinking, their whole mentality, and what they set forth, what they put in place for others to follow, which was not of God at all. God was not behind those things. Now, I'm not saying nobody that in those days that was a part of any religious anything were not, because that's not so. But I'm speaking specifically of the ones that were not. And so the ones that had beef with Jesus. And so this morning I was reading in my devotion, and I came across this scripture, and it was so interesting to me. In John 18:37, it says, Pilate said, so you are asking? Jesus responded, you say I am a king. Actually, I was born and came into the world to testify to the truth. All who love the truth recognize what I say is true. And so when I read this, I laughed. It just tickled me so, because, see, those religious leaders, those Pharisees were, going back and forth with Jesus, trying to trip him up because he spoke the truth. He spoke the truth. That's what he came to do. And so, God just really started speaking to me about, you do too. Kingdom people, you stand for the truth. You speak truth. You all about truth. People know it. They know that. And they feel like you need to explain. You need to explain yourself. You need to explain who you think you are to be walking in this truth. Who you think you are. You know how they say, some people have a thing for who you think you are. My answer is always, I don't think. I don't actually answer them, by the way. But this is my attitude. I don't think. I don't think. But I am a child of the Most High God. The I am that I am lives in me. So I am. Not who I think. I don't, but the thing is, you don't owe them an explanation. You do not owe these people an explanation. And, when I read this scripture, it really struck a chord, because God was speaking to me about the reason why they do that in the first place is because you walk in truth. You speak truth. You are the truth. And they have a problem with that because, again, it highlights their untruths. Hey, Wayne. Where you been, Wayne? You been missing the action. Creole mama told you, say, you working out. You hope you don't miss anything. Oh, so yeah, Kingdom people. It's a trip out here in these spiritual streets. These people know you represent the truth. They know. They want to know who you think you are to tell the truth. Who you think you are to walk in this truth, and how you figure that's the truth. They want you to explain. They want an explanation for their. I just heard darkness. See, understand this. People in darkness, they want an explanation as far as why the truth is so. It's so twisted. Look, in John 18:37, it says, um, all who love the truth recognize what I say is true. So what that means is people who love the truth will receive Jesus and his truth for what it is. People who don't love the truth. You know how the saying goes, the truth hurts. People who don't like the truth, because again, it highlights their error. It highlights what's twisted in their thinking and what's twisted in their beliefs. In other words, it's not of God. And I just heard again, it's of the darkness. So people that don't like the truth want you to explain yours. They want you to explain, not in a way of really trying to understand though. Not in a way of really trying to learn and grasp this truth, but really in a way of trying to trip you up to say, no, no. They want to argue, some of them, and they want to tell you, debate. Going back to what I was saying earlier about some of these people that even come on here trying to argue. I ain't here to argue. I mean, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you argue? Who? It's funny to me. But what it shows me a lot of times is that the truth hurts. They don't like the truth that's being spoken. But that's how people are with you, kind of people. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything. You could just be about your business. And I don't know, Apostle, I don't know why I'm seeing you right now. I know you've shared here what you do. I don't want to say it because I don't know if I don't want to put your private stuff out here, but one of what you shared, the work that you do, and I just seen that. I just seen a vision of you moving around doing what you do. And there may be people watching you, and not just Apostle, but that's just the vision I just got. But people may be watching you, kingdom people, and they see how you move and how you go, and you live in your truth. It's a thing where they know you know the truth about something. Don't mean you're perfect, don't mean you know it all, but you know something. You're moving like you know what you're doing, even if you're still trying to figure it out. And what I mean by trying to figure it out is you letting God lead you and show you the way. Because the truth is, we don't know everything. And even if we know, we don't know that we know until we know. But the thing is this, you could just be going about your business and people watching you, and they know you stand for the truth. They know that you are legitimate. They know that you are real. They know, like I said, even, I don't know why I keep getting this, but even if you got some stuff you're working through, you're working through it. You ain't out here trying to fake and front and fall in line with the rest of the herd. You're not trying to do that. No shade to people that's doing that, because, I have a thing where I understand what has happened to mankind. But my issue be with if I'm gonna call it an issue, is with the ones that try to make a problem with us because we're just moving in the things of God. And actually, I don't have an issue with them. Holy Spirit is correcting me. He's saying they have an issue with you. They have an issue with you because you represent the truth. You represent God. But here's the thing to that kingdom people. They supposed to have an issue with you because, listen, this being on my spirit lately, it's a thing where ain't nobody mad but the devil. I'm going into a little something else right now, but this is very significant. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. So when they mad, and in this case, when they want an explanation and want you to explain, who was that? Ain't nobody mad but the devil. Here's the thing, kingdom people. The devil not supposed to be okay with you. The devil not supposed to be, oh, we cool. No, we not. If the devil was cool with you and all right with you, that means you on his side. You on this team, you working for him. That means something ain't right. So I'm saying all that to say that when these people have beef with you, first of all, they are identifying who they are because ain't nobody mad but the devil. Don't nobody want an explanation as to who you think you are but the devil. And just let me just reassure you, the devil already know who you are. I always said that, not always, but for quite some time since I've been very aware of this whole event that where they questioned Jesus, where series of events, should I say, where they were interrogating Jesus and questioning him, prior to them trying to lead, prior to leading to his crucifixion, because ultimately that's what they wanted to do. They were just trying to find reason to. And I always said for some time now, they knew exactly who he was because that's a lot of interrogation. That's a lot of how many times y'all gonna ask? Like, you know, that means that they knew who he was. They knew he was who he was. They just didn't want to accept the truth. But the truth was still the truth nonetheless. Was Jesus not Jesus just because they didn't want them to be? They didn't want him to be Jesus. He was still Jesus. They put him on that cross. He hung his head. He gave up the ghost. He was put in the tomb. He rose 3 days later, and he was still Jesus. All that happened, but it didn't change the fact that he was Jesus. He was still Jesus. And he did never explain that he was Jesus. He was who he was. He walked in who he was. They knew who he was. But they wanted an explanation because they did not want to accept the fact that he was who he was. King of people, I just came to tell you, it's the same thing with you. They know who you are. They don't want to accept that you are who you are. You are I want to, I got something and it just left me just that fast. Was trying to process it. I guess Holy Spirit said, ain't nobody asked you to process it, just say it. Process it later. He took it from me. I guess I was, listen. But a descendant of Jesus. That's what it was. He's saying that you are a descendant of Jesus. And so yes, naturally, or maybe not so naturally, at some point naturally, you're gonna have to be handled kind of sort of the same way Jesus was, somewhat. And I almost want to say you just won't have to get up on that cross. But our flesh do get up on that cross. Because when he be crucifying our flesh so we can walk in the spirit, we be up on that cross. And I'm just reminding her, he didn't bear the cross alone. We have to carry our own cross. But we don't have to get up on the cross like he did because he already did all that. But, it's so interesting because I was reading too. It had to be in Matthew too. It had to be. I want to say in Revelation, but I've been reading in Matthew. I spoke something about, that was just yesterday. All what they're going to do. That was today, actually. I be getting my days mixed up. They be all meshed together. But it was speaking about how, before the end of time, that we're going to be experiencing certain things. And it's actually the birth pains. The end is not here. And so when I was reading it, it's like, I should go grab it. Well, I don't want to do all that. Anyhow, my point is to say, it was even speaking of how they're going to kill and murder and persecute God's people. And, how it's going to get so bad that the people who are not with God are going to wish that the time is shortened. And it was saying how, it was in Matthew 20, chapter 23, I want to say, if you want to check that out. I believe it's 23. But it was even saying how people, they're gonna want that time shortened because it's gonna be so bad. But he said for the sake of his chosen people that it would be shortened. And then, of course, when it's time for God, Jesus to come and get us, he gonna swipe up his chosen people. And it literally said chosen, his chosen ones is what it literally said. And so, and that's, I'm reading from the New Living Translation. And so, yeah, came to people, they want an explanation, but you don't have to explain nothing to them. You do not have to explain nothing. I know you already know that, but I'm just saying it because they want an explanation. Not so they can really, not for it to help them in a positive way, but they want an explanation. They feel like they're entitled to know who you think you are. Sometimes they feel like they're entitled just to know how you got to where you are. And again, it's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But here's the thing, you share those kind of things with the right people. I'm hearing, cast not your pearl upon the swine. Do not give what is holy to the dogs. In other words, everybody doesn't deserve your sharing. You sharing, whether it be your story, your testimony, you always about to say testament, your whatever how you overcome, what you did to do this and how you got here. Some people do deserve that. It's for you to share with those who it's for, but not for those who think that you owe them an explanation. Not them. Because they wouldn't do nothing. Listen, the reason why they scriptures say cast not your pearl upon the swine, because swine, all they're gonna do is trample over it, because they don't want it for the right reason. They just, and then they're so grimy is what I'm hearing, gutter is what I'm hearing, animalistic, that's all they can do is, because they angry, they don't want it for the right reasons. They want it just to trample over it. So it's like throwing your good, whatever it is that you have to share, in the garbage. You might as well go and just put it in the garbage when you giving it to swine, because it's not for them. But they want it. They want to know. They want an explanation. But they don't get an explanation. Their heart is not in the right place. Yeah, they don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. They don't want to know. And then sometimes these people are where they are, and they just realize that they haven't done, I want to say, the best with their lives. They haven't. Thank you to Biblical Barbie. Thanks for your, I want to say, super thanks or super chat. One or the other. Thank you. And so, yeah, you are just a reflection of what they are not, or what they could be, what they should be, you know? And so that's just kind of where all that comes into play. And, I'm just going to end this by saying this. Although I tend to speak about these things because it's just so right there in my face, I've even tried to avoid speaking on these kind of things, but God won't let me, and at this point, I oblige. I'm not resistant to it, although I wouldn't say I was resistant to it, but I can remember a time I was like, I don't want to be talking about this kind of stuff. But God told me I had to, because these things have to be highlighted. It's not something that, it's just for you to be made aware, for us to be aware of, so we can know. God don't want us walking this earth blind to what's going on. He need us to see. Doesn't mean dwell on it, don't mean panic, don't mean none of that. It just means be aware. I'm here, you have to know your enemy. Kingdom people, your enemy studies you. You have to study your enemy too, so you can know your enemy. But we're not studying him the same way he's studying us. The enemy studies us to cause us harm, to try to see how to trip us up, to try to find a opening to get us. But we study to protect ourselves. We study so we can navigate around all his tricks and tactics, so we won't get caught up. We're not even trying to cause the enemy harm. Thanks again. I'm sorry. Thanks again, Biblical Barbie. Sorry for, I want to say messing your name up, but that's biblical. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's Lord. That's very true. You say you was in the shower. Oh my goodness. You all are just absolutely wonderful. Miss Shana Nori say she late. You say you was in it. Hey, you never too late. Listen, well, I ain't gonna say that, but not for this. I don't think, not in my estimation. Listen, show up. That's been one of my biggest things lately. Show up. Listen, before I came on this morning, let me tell y'all a little funny story. I had took some medicine, some pain medicine this morning, and I have to take pain medicine sometimes during that time of the month because and it's not over the counter. Let me put it like that because I need something stronger, and so it makes me sleepy. It makes me drowsy. I took some this morning. And so a little later, I had forgotten because I was still in the bed, laying down before I got up. So I got up and took some, laid back down. So, when I finally did get up, got myself together, going throughout my day, I was sitting and helping my daughter a little earlier with some of her schoolwork. And I was sitting there dying off. And I'm like, where am I? It was so weird because I'm like, I could literally go and take a nap right now. Then I had to remember that I had took the medicine. I'm like, oh, okay. So I knew I had this coming up. It was already on me to come on live and speak on this. But in the meantime, after I finished with my daughter, I went and laid down for a minute because I just needed to. You know how you just need that minute? I fell asleep. And it was so funny because it was like on me, like, wake up because you got to do that laugh. So I kept looking at the clock. But the point that I'm making is this. Kingdom people, what I really wanted to do was lay in that bed and just sleep because I was able to do that today. I mean, I have some things to do, but I have a pretty flexible schedule today, and so I can get to it when I get to it. And sometimes you just need to take that breather when you need it. And so I just wanted to take that breather right then and just lay there because you know how when that sleep be getting good, you just want to stay in it. But I couldn't. I let myself get rested enough. Then I pulled myself out of it and said, come on, because I had to show up. I had to show up, kingdom people. So I'm saying all that to say, as long as you show up, show up. That's important every single day. I think about this. I was in the shower this morning. Look, now I'm talking about when I was in the shower. I was in the shower this morning, and I was just thinking about how I love taking showers. And I love taking showers because it's refreshing. It cleanses you. And so when I get up in the morning, most times I go straight to the shower. Well, brush my teeth and all that first and take my shower. And because it brings you to life. Not that you didn't have life, but you know what I'm saying? It refreshes you. And it was just really on my spirit that it helps you to show up. It helps you to get ready for your day. I just want to speak a little bit to this because it's really on my spirit. Because lately it's been on me about people being depressed and people in narcissistic relationships, and that can be horrible. I know about it, but it was just on me that a way that you feel better, a way that you help yourself in your day, part of your self-care. Take a shower. That's a way of showing up. That's all I'm saying. That's a way of showing up. Then keep showing up. Whatever else you need to do, just keep showing up. That's a whole nother message. I ain't even trying to really get too much into that, but I already said a lot. You just show up. Take your shower. When you show up for that shower, I just heard the devil be mad. I literally just heard that. I don't know who this is for, but if anybody on here, if anybody see this later, and you going through it, and we all tend to go through it in one way or another, at some point of time in our lives. Sometimes things just may be challenging. You keep on getting up every day and taking that shower and showing up. And I assure you, after you take that shower, you will be ready to show up to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I don't know. That just was on me to share. But you're never too late. I ain't gonna say never, but you get what I'm saying, kingdom people. But what I will tell you, going back to what we were originally talking about, you don't owe no explanation. You don't have to explain nothing. Now, kingdom people, I know y'all already know that. But I just wanted to reinforce it. And I just wanted you to know they want one. They want one. They want an explanation. They feel entitled. Y'all know that thing of being, I don't know why some of these people feel entitled. Especially for me, even the people I know and that have done things for me and that this, that, and the other, you know, I still don't get the entitlement because I too have done things for people, but I don't feel entitled to them or anything of that, but that's me. I have an attitude. I thought of this earlier today when God was talking to me about this whole wanting an explanation. And I said that to God. I said the entitlement. They just entitled. And I was half asleep. I had already took my medicine money and I'm all, God still be talking while not like that, but sometimes. But my thing is, if somebody feel entitled to something, if they're truly entitled to it, meaning if it's truly theirs, when they have it, wouldn't it just be happening? That's just my take on it. It's just like the ones that say, I told God this today, the ones that say they don't feel like you deserve it. They feel like they deserve it. They should have that. Well, if it was for you to have, wouldn't you have it? If you deserved it, wouldn't you be getting it? I'm not saying that just because you don't have something, keeping the people, don't mean you don't deserve it. That's not what I'm speaking of, because sometimes we have to wait on God and we have to go through our processes. But what I'm speaking of is these ones that ain't on nothing doing it. And even if they was doing something, they ain't doing what God telling them to do. I remember God sharing with me a certain particular person that they work. They work a lot. They work like a Hebrew slave. No shade, but they work. And they felt like because they work so hard, they should be getting the blessings that God give me. But let me tell you something. This is a person who was not walking with God at all. So it's like all along I was on the path. I was following God. I might not have been working like a Hebrew slave because I really don't believe in doing that. I believe that slavery is over, even though they still be trying to slave us. I just don't believe it, and I do believe in putting in the work now. That's not what I'm saying, Kingdom people. I ain't saying be lazy and don't do nothing. But the point that I'm really making, hey, Jenna, ooh, my ass just got kind of tripped out. Yes, you got to put God first. Blessing people with no strings attached. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what we do. That's what I do. I believe that's how kingdom people move. Like I said, I've done things for people, but I ain't over here feeling like you owe me your life and you owe me explanation and you when you. And in some of these ones, they may have done. I was thinking about this morning. Some people have done something for it. Well, God brought something to mind. One of them people with this entitlement attitude, that they did do some things for me and I appreciated them. And I can remember a couple of years ago, this is an elder, I was filled with so much love for this person. So much love. And I told them, so I said, I don't know what this is, but I just love you so much. I just have so much love for you. And then a little bit after that, God brought to my attention some evil that had been going on all along. Now, I was aware of some stuff, some jealousies, and some little certain things they were saying, but I wasn't even giving, it what it really was. I wasn't doing that. But when God put it in my face and said, when it was time, so that's the other thing. God allowed things to build up. He allowed people to show themselves. Then He'll get in your face and put them in your face and say, look. And then you have to accept it for what it is. And then that's just that. You know what it is. And so I'm saying all that to say, I had so much love for this person. God just took me through this period of having this love for them. And then He hit me with the whammy where I had to disconnect myself from this person. And this is a person that had done some things for me in the past. But I also found out it wasn't all genuine from the heart. And they were talking smack about me behind my back while doing it. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into that. And this was years ago. And if it was it wasn't much they did like that in more recent times. But, small little things. But like I always say, I do for people too. But the point is this, I told God I appreciated what they did. I really did. But when you put that taint on it, when you understand, well, yeah, they did this and they did, and I said thank you. That's the other part to it. When you tell a person thank you for what they did, said thank you, what you want, and then not just that, but feel like you shouldn't be who God called you to be because they did something for you. I don't get it, but um what I was really wanting to say is when they tainted with all that, when you see all the wickedness that they was on, all the ways they were also trying to get in your way, they were all also trying to get you to stray away from what God has for you and who God called you to be. So it's like, yeah, you did this, but you did this too. Anyway, Kingdom people, they feel entitled. They feel entitled, and you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them nothing. And listen, if somebody did something for you and you appreciated it, that should be enough. That should be enough. You appreciated it, you said thank you. Otherwise, if someone is doing something for you and now they feel like you owe them, because, and especially when they have also mishandled you. Because see, that's the thing. People would do things for you and be mishandling you all at the same time, or later mishandle you. And then when you move around and still be resilient in spite of, they feel like you owe them something. Sometimes what they feel like that you owe them is an explanation as to how you do this, how you get to do what, who you think you are. I ain't gonna go back into all that. I already said it, but they do feel like you owe them an explanation. But Kingdom people, you don't. You don't owe these people no explanation. Again, it's just like with Jesus. They don't want to. They not really sincere. It's just a mess. It's a mess for those who are really, who God has you there to really help and to share whatever you have to share, and to, you know, minister to, even, or even tell your story to. Because sometimes we have to tell our story to help others. Sometimes our story is bigger than us. It's somebody, it's somebody else's, how they get free. Our story sometimes be other people's deliverance. I didn't seen it in my own life. And even some people, here on the channel have come and told me, send me emails to tell me some things, that I've shared, and just being here listening have set them free. I know some people that have gone on and done, some people that went and wrote books, said that you moved me to do what I needed to be doing. I don't recall ever sitting here saying you need to go write that book. Probably, threw it out there, but I don't know if that's um, what they were driven by or inspired by. I don't know. But the whole thing is this, you know, they don't owe me nothing. They don't owe me no explanation. It's people that, how you help people. This was on me too this morning. How sometimes you help people and, okay, it's this saying I used to hear: people don't want to help you because they scared you're going to go further than them. I started learning that was true. Even with the people that was helping me, they was helping me, but they was also trying to keep me back. Not everybody, just them ones in particular. And so I'm like, that's interesting, because I have a thing where I help people. I don't care if they go, who's thinking about that? I don't think about things like that. And I like for people to do their thing. I don't feel, that's just not me. But, even helping people in a way where showing them how to do this, showing them how to know, sharing something that that's beneficial to them, and then they take off in it. I like that. That doesn't bother me, because here's the thing. I'm going to be just what God need me to be. I'm going to receive what God has for me. And that's what I want. If God moved me to help you out and it caused you to take off, that's what God wanted. So that's what I want. I mean, and it's kind of like an honor to know that I contributed to that, but you don't owe me no explanation. I don't feel entitled to everything that, God is taking you into. You don't owe me nothing. If you said thank you, that was enough. That's all that's needed. But anyway, Kingdom people, and sometimes if you didn't say thank you, that's okay too. It's okay. You know why? When you do what God tells you to do, when you do what's right, when you do what you're supposed to do, you always in right standing. You on the good side of things. So sometimes when people just handle things the wrong way, they not hurting nobody but themselves. You know, it was on me too today. How people, some people, maybe felt like, oh, I got this up out of you. No, you got out of me what God told me to get to you. And if you and your man think you took something, you got something, now you finna go run off with it, wait for it. Watch it flop. It's only so far people gonna get a weight. It's only so far they can go because they got the wrong attitude, the wrong mindset. They think they getting over, and they ain't got on nobody but over on nobody but they self. They didn't mess their own self up. So anyway, kingdom people, I don't wanna you know, worry y'all to death with all these shenanigans. Nah, I'm just laying. But you don't owe no explanation. They want one though. They want you to explain yourself. You don't owe them no explanation. Send them in circles like Jesus did. Spin them. And if you're anything like me, I don't even say nothing. I ain't even finna talk to you. We ain't even ready to have no conversation for you to even think you finna ask some questions to get the explanation you looking for. You gonna be all the way over there. I'm gonna be all the way over here, and you gonna be wanting the explanation. And I ain't never even finna talk to you or let you talk to me for those that apply for. So, can people, what am I saying? They just gonna be wanting, like I like to say. They want an explanation. They just gonna be wanting. Don't hold your breath, cause you might not make it. Hey, the people. I'm gonna go take another nap. Let me check out these comments. Hey, Lamoni, I haven't seen you in a while. I think you. Thank you. Chef. Okay, chef. Made me think of our daughter when we be in her little stuff. We be calling everybody chef, chef. I call her chef. I love it. I love it. I do. Yeah, Apostle, you don't, because it's anything. I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking, I know y'all like it. You was thinking about a lot this morning. I do tend to do that. Sometimes God just be talking to me and then I think on it and we'll be going, kind of like that. And it's a very common thing for us. That's why when they want an explanation, they want to know how. Because this is what I do every single day. Talk to God. I move. Listen, in Him I live, move, and have my being. You want an explanation? There it is. Then they still gonna be like, what that mean? Having eyes and can't see, having ears and can't see. They still don't get it. Even if you gave them an explanation, the people, they'll be like this. Be scratching. Because it's beyond them. It's outside of their understanding and comprehension. And because their hearts are not in the right place and they're not sincere about really knowing, it just go right over their head. They ain't gonna get it anyway. Doing all, that's why they call you crazy, because they don't get it. They don't get the things of God. Now, while God desires for them to, and we do tend to too, like you said, Apostle, we don't have time to be dealing with all that. What we focus on is people that are receptive. We focus on people that God has sent us here to actually help, not them ones that be on all that crazy, want to play games and want to manipulate it because they got all these issues and demons and unhealed wounds and unresolved issues and inner conflict they got going on. We don't allow them to drag us up into their mess that they need to deal with within themselves. We don't allow that. We leave them with themselves and we ain't giving no explanation. And if we ever decide to, what we can say, in Him, I live, move, and have my being. I believe that's sufficient because it's the truth. It is what it is. You want to know how? In Him, I live, move, and have my being. That's what God was talking to me about the other day. These ones that be trying to comfort you and all this. And God lives, you live, God lives in you. He dwells in you. You literally coming at God. They be thinking you some mere mortal. You not a mere mortal. You ain't even really human. You get what I'm saying? What I mean is when the greater he is in you, you ain't no regular human being. Anyway, Kingdom people, we're going to leave that matter alone. Hey, Miss Gwendolyn, thanks for joining. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'll be trying to do that. And if I ever do, my apologies. Listen, don't charge it to my heart or my head, please. Please just don't charge me. You know how the people say, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my head. Please don't charge my head. Listen, I'm going to stay free. Even if you do, I'm still going to stay free. That's just, I'm staying free. I don't know what y'all talking about. Not y'all getting people, but you know, I don't know what these people be on, but I'm going to stay free. Okay? When you went through too much to get free, ain't no way in nobody's world you finna come put chains on me. Listen, I done broke free from my own chains. You think you finna come clunk clunk? The devil is a liar. And I don't care if he mad. He's supposed to be mad. He ain't supposed to be glad about me. He ain't supposed to be glad about you, kind of people. When he mad, that means you doing what you need to be doing. Not that you're trying to make a man, but you get what I'm saying. Him being mad ain't none of your problem. It's not your problem. It's a he problem. It's a they problem. When people got a problem with you, listen to this. When people got a problem with you, so listen to this. I'm gonna say it again. They got a problem. Think about that. If they got a problem with you, they got a problem. It ain't your problem. It ain't got nothing to do with you. They got the problem with you. You ain't got the problem with you. Unless you do. And if you got a problem with you, you deal with yourself. But if they got a problem with you, they got a problem over there. You let them stay over there with their problem. Don't bring their problem to you. Anyway, that's why, Miss Gwendolyn, you are free. You are free and stay free. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for joining. So yeah, can the people and stay free by knowing you don't want no explanation. They can want all they want. There's a whole lot they be wanting with for you and want all in your life, wanting for your life. Go over there in your own life. You want in your own life. They got your own life. That people all focused in you and your life, wanting. I don't want what it is. I know. Anyway, can the people, let me leave that alone. It's time to go take that nap. How much drink coffee? But I don't drink it for that. It's decaf anyway. Anyway, Kingdom people, thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate you all so much for being here. Yeah. You all know I don't want to leave. What's that, Rainy? That's a laugh, cry. What you laughing at? What you crying at? Anyway, you all know I don't want to leave you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm glad it's a blessing to you. I try. I really do, y'all. I do my best. I just keep showing up. I just keep showing up. Every time God tell him, I just keep showing up. I'm going to do whatever God tell me to do. Okay? That's just what it is for me, and I don't care who don't like it. That's their problem. That's their problem. Me and God, we like this. We got to understand it. I don't know. All I know is pink. I mean, you got any other explanation, Wendy? Listen, I owe you no explanation, okay? Oh, absolutely. Obedience. Listen, that's the way to be blessed. And not that it's just about that. Here's the thing, too. You have to want the ways of God. How sometimes God got to wrestle with people to make them walk in his way. I don't have that. I like it. I like his stuff. I love God's stuff. I don't want all that other stuff out here. And even though we in this world, but we not of it. We learn. God shows us how to enjoy the things in the world in a proper way. Not the world, the worldly part of it. But you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you too, Apostle. I appreciate you all for being here, for joining me. You know I love y'all so very much, and I really do mean that, like for real. I even be like, man, I love them kingdom people. I do. And I said, dang. And I ain't finna be on here talking like that. I already don't talk like that no more. Not anymore. Praise Jesus. I love you all too. And so, kingdom people, I don't want to leave you, but I do have to go. But I'll be back to hold my kingdom people down. Kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you, like for real. I know y'all doing that already, but I just have to reinforce it. Let Him lead you in all things, at all times, kingdom people. Kingdom people. We are untouchable. We are unbreakable. We are unmovable. And we are unstoppable. You hear me? Okay, kingdom people. Kingdom people, that is my time. God bless you too. Who do I love? Wayne, you know you something else. That is my time. Jesus girl, she's out. Love you, kingdom people.